Hi guys, welcome back again. So today is day 44 left. So yesterday we finished day 43 Docker pods mapping. Alright, so today is we're gonna have to write a Docker compose file. So if we get ready, let's go. Alright, so you may probably question what does it mean Docker compose file? So simply I will explain here with this diagram. So you can think of like we were trying to access the web server using a specific URL. Here we are on the user browser. We have the browser, right? So we were trying to access this URL. So this URL is running on our computer, right? So that way, our computer port number is listing on the port 8080, but Docker container for web server is running on the port 80. So we have to communicate port 80 and port 8080. So in that process, we have to do the mapping, from 8080 to 80. So this is a kind of process. So to set up with this process, we need that and Docker compose. So you can simply think of like a Docker compose is a file, an automated script file, like a blueprint, and to give the configure instructions and to set up with the correct commands line to be executed automatically. So here, so on our computer we will have the Docker engine. So within the Docker engine we will have the Docker container applications. Probably for web service we will use Nginx. For database we will use Postgres, something like that. So for separated services we have to run the different container applications at the same time. So to run those kind of things, we cannot type and we cannot write every single Docker command line by line. So that takes time, right? So instead of doing that, we will use a Docker compose file. So you can see that within the Docker compose file, probably we may set up with like the version number, and for services we have the web service and we have the database service, and we set up with the environment. So for web services we will use Nginx image, and then we have to connect with the correct port numbers each other. And for database we can use the Postgres image, and we can set up with the password, something like that. So to run multiple applications at the same time, so we can type like this: docker compose -d with single command. So it will run and make it Docker containers work together. You understand what I mean right here? That's why Docker compose kind of like a file. That's a scripted file, but we have to use YAML programming language here. .yml, that's the extension file name. Alright, so I think you will clearly understand here. So if you don't understand, we can find like the word is a Docker compose. So here Docker compose is a tool used to define and manage multiple container applications. Like I said before, it allows you to describe your entire application stack, including services, networks, and storage, volume, stuff like that, and so on. So instead of running there's our manual Docker run commands. Yeah. So for running multiple applications, we have to run the Docker commands manually. So it takes time and complicated with the flag here, complex flags. So instead of doing like that, choosing that way, we will choose the Docker compose method, right, to start every component of our application at once. This is very important, right? So alright, so let we go to the challenge. So in this challenge we will read a given instruction here: Natalia's application development maintain share static website content. So static website application that needs to be hosted on the HTTP web server. So we will run our web application on the HTTP web server using a containerized platform. So that means they use the Docker for containerized platform as a container platform. So the team has shared details with the DevOps team, and we need to set up an environment according to those guidelines. So below are details. So the first requirement say that on the app server 3 in Stratos DCE, we're gonna have to create a container, right? Container name is httpd. So httpd is container name, and we use the docker compose file. So docker compose file has to be located within this directory. So please use the exact name for the file. So you need to consider this file name correctly and use that name and give the name correctly. All right, so we go to the app server 3, right? So app server 3 username is Banner, not Steve, not Tony. So we copy the password. So in order to try to access, we will use SSH and Banner at tapp step 03. I will say yes, and I'm gonna paste the password. Yeah, so now we are on the app server 3. So let me check this directory. So this directory correctly existing, already existed there, so we will go there. So before we go, let me change root user. Probably we may need to change it into the root user. So let me go there, cd opt docker, and then we will check that. So within this directory we don't have any file, so we have to create a docker compose file. So you can directly create with a Vim editor like this, but you can create with a Tosh, Tosh. And yeah, so here we will see the docker-compose.yml file. So we will try to access with the Vim editor again. All right, so we have to create a docker compose file, and we have to give the command lines here. So the second requirement says that we had to use httpd service and along with the latest tag here, image for container, and make sure container name is httpd the same. So you can use any name for a service, okay? So we have to map the port number of the container with the Docker host. So container port number is 80. Docker host port number is 8083. We need to give these numbers correctly. So the requirement says that we have to map the container volume to the Docker host volume. So container volume is this, and this specific file path. This is a Docker host volume file directory path, so which is already in there. So please do not modify any data within this location. All right, so wait, tdt, I will copy, so we don't need this anymore. So like here it is mentioned here, so we have to use version number for this. I think we don't need to add the version numbers, so we will write the docker compose file like this, and we will type the web service. So web service. So if you don't know that, we can find in a Google again. So let me find how to write it. Sorry, a docker compose file. So we'll find like that. So we can apply this docker compose here. Within the service, we have to give the web service, and we have to give the database service, and we have to communicate with the volume. We have to give the volume service. No, sorry. We have to set up for the volume, and then we will run the docker compose. So all right. So for web service, we will you know that So here you can use any name for service. So that's why you can get like the web service. You can get like that, but I will give like west, and then we will give the image name like this. Where is that? Here we had to give the image name. So image name is here. For the container image we will give the httpd, and we will give the latest tag like that. So I will give latest, this is the tag name, and then we will give the port number. Here you can see that here, port number. So we have to get like that. So port with the S, and then dash here. Yeah, the same here, port and dash. So we give the port number, sorry. So port number is localhost number is 8080. The localhost number is 8083, and container port number is 80. And after that we give the environment or database. Alright, so we give the database service. So for database we will also use the we use the oh sorry, we don't need to set up for the database here. So http create container name, docker compose. Container name is docker compose. Alright, so we don't need to give the database service, that's okay. So we had to set up for the volume. So we will set up with the for the volume, volume volume. So we have to give the correct volume. Here is this is the Docker host volume, and we had to give the this container volume. So I think probably this is not too accurate. Let me find like that. So for volume, you know, we can write like this actually. This is for the web servers. It's a DB Apache. So alright, so I will give like this. So that's okay. Alright, so we give the image name HTTP latest, and then we make it the correct port mapping 8083 to dockerhost 80, and we map the container volume. This is a dockerhost volume to the container volume correctly, and yeah, finally we can save that. So here actually we are doing for, you know, the web service That's why I think this has to be within the web services. All right, so we've finished and escape and save it. And then finally we will run the docker compose. And we run this command and we will get the correct file path. So we will run this docker compose file. And we will make it up and -d. Oh, it's not correct. I think we had to remove dash. So volume is not allowed. Maybe in the docker compose file we have an error. cat and docker. Is there something wrong? Let me check that with this. Is there something wrong? Oh yeah, typos error. Actually, here we had to use with the s. I forgot the s. So let me fix that again. So vi docker. So I have to give the volume with the s. So I will escape and save it to build2. And now we run the docker compose. Yeah. Actually, we don't need to run the docker compose for this lab because in the requirements, it's not mentioned about there to create the docker compose, docker container. So now we can check it at the docker. Docker ps. Oh, wait. Wait. I think I gave this is default name. Let me check how to create a docker container. How to create a container. Name is, oh, I think, yeah, definitely occurs. Oh god, I forgot the name, sorry for that. And docker compose. I will try to edit again, and I have to give the container name right here. container. Container name has to be httpd because this is the first requirement right here. We have to create a container. Container name has to be httpd like this here, like this. So alright, so I will finish and I will escape it and save it, and I will run it again, this docker compose file. So this is gonna be new container. Yeah, so the name has changed into the httpd. Yeah, we successfully created a docker container with the docker compose. So let me check it out and click confirm. I think we did it well, but I was a little bit wrong for the docker compose file related with the volumes and container name. I forget that. Alright, so we successfully did it. So we start here, click yes, no issue face, submit. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you in the next coming video. Peace out, guys.